Brown and Jordan mount remarkable fight back after wickets tumble before lunch. Northants were well beaten by Lancashire in round 3 and found themselves in mid-table, just 3 points above Sussex, who'd started their campaign with 1 win and 1 defeat. The home team included Curran and Rossington in their lineup and after winning the toss, elected to bowl at Wantage Road. Sussex openers Salt and Haynes made a steady start to the innings, but when the score had reached 20, Ben Sanderson struck for the home side, off-stump sent flying, and Salt was gone for 12. And the bowler had more joy in his next over, a leading edge from Haynes looping gently to Bavuma at point, and Sussex were 25 for 2. And it was 3 in 3 overs for Sanderson when a loose drive from Van Zale flew straight to Keogh at mid-off. Sanderson's success couldn't match the dramatic effort of Nathan Buck, who bowled Finch for 4 and actually broke middle stump in half. Sussex desperately needed a partnership to develop, and Wells and skipper Brown did stick around for a while, adding 30 runs in 9 overs before Proctor weighed in with his first wicket, Rossington with a smart catch to dismiss Wells, and it was 65 for 5. No Northants bowler wanted to be left out, and there was more damage to the stumps when Overton broke through Visa's defences, gone for a 5-ball duck. That proved to be Northants' last wicket of the morning as Brown and Chris Jordan limped through to 77 for 6 at lunch, the home side already in control of the match. Or so they thought, because after lunch batting suddenly seemed much more straightforward. Brown and Jordan both posted half-centuries, with Jordan recently discarded from England's World Cup plans in particularly aggressive mood. The contrast between the afternoon session and Northants' success in the morning could hardly have been greater, as the partnership continued to flourish. Brown and Jordan matched each other in boundaries. And when tea came, the skipper had made 87 with 13 fours, while Jordan had hit 14 in his 86. The day had been completely transformed for Sussex. After tea, more of the same. Jordan first to 3 figures, his third first-class century, coming off 131 balls. And a few minutes later, Brown followed suit, lashing Proctor through point to reach his 100. The next milestone was the 200 partnership, and once they'd managed that, the pair upped the tempo even more. The Northants attack that had looked so dangerous in the morning was now completely tamed, as the pair raced each other to 150. Jordan got there first again after hitting Proctor for 3 fours in an over. He'd reached the highest score of his career, and Brown wasn't far behind. The only landmark remaining was the 300 partnership, and that came up just before the close, which found Sussex 370 for 6, a superb comeback from 65 for 5 in the morning. Northants will be under real pressure on day 2. Sussex stay on top as the runs flow at Northampton. Day 1 at Northampton seemed to be going the home side's way when they reduced Sussex to 68 for 6, but a superb stand by Chris Jordan and Ben Brown changed all that. The pair both passed 150 as the visitors closed on 370 for 6. Day 2 began with a setback for Northants. Alex Wakely forced to withdraw through injury, with Adam Rossington taking over as captain. But there was better news on the field. Brown falling LBW to Woods soon after the start of play for 156. Jordan continued unperturbed and had taken the Sussex total past 400 when he was dismissed. But at the other end, Sakande was removed by Buck, Overton taking the catch. He then claimed his third wicket of the innings when last man Mir Hamza was caught by Vasconcelos, and Sussex were finally all out for 422, the card dominated by Brown and Jordan. After toiling in the field, Northants faced 5 overs before lunch and didn't survive them without damage. Ben Curran caught at slip off Hamza for 3. He was replaced by Wakely's concussion substitute Josh Cobb, and at lunch the home side were 15 for 1, still a long way behind. When play resumed, Cobb's partner Vasconcelos set the tempo as runs came quickly. The opener hit boundaries at regular intervals and reached his 50 from 81 balls. With the pitch still offering little help for the bowlers, Cobb was able to make the most of his unexpected involvement in the match. He completed a half-century with 9 fours. But the Northants pair didn't quite bat through the session. Vasconcelos decided to sweep the last ball before tea and was trapped LBW by Briggs. That brought the interval with the home side 143 for 2, and surely plenty more runs available on this Wantage Road pitch. It seemed the perfect opportunity for Temba Bafuma to notch his first big score for his new county. But when the South African had reached 8 after tea, he was removed by Hamza, with Jordan taking the catch. And just a few runs later, Northants lost Cobb too, Hamza with the catch this time from Sekande's bowling, out for 66, and it was 165 for 4. Rossington's response to a couple of quick wickets was 3 quick boundaries, but then he was gone too, caught by Finch off Jordan for 13. Rob Keogh dropped anchor and forged a useful partnership with Proctor to steady the Northants ship, but with the close in sight, Keogh departed for 41. Jordan once again involved, taking the catch from Wells bowling. They closed on 242 for 6, and still with work to do to avoid the follow-on. More salt in Northants' wounds as Sussex set up victory chance. A partnership of 309 between Ben Brown and Chris Jordan had put Sussex in control at Northampton, and they pressed home their advantage on day 2 by reducing the home side to 242 for 6 at the close, still 180 runs behind. Northants had lost skipper Alex Waitley to concussion before day 2 and were forced to make another change after Luke Wood was hit on the helmet before the close of play. Brett Hutton, their second replacement, going into day 3. And the new man was soon in action after the overnight pair of Proctor and Overton had added 22 to the total. Overton LBW to Luke Wells for 19, and Hutton came in at 264 for 7. His stay was a brief one, caught by Finch off Jordan for just 2. Northants were in danger of conceding a big first innings lead, but Proctor and newman Buck soon avoided the follow-on and launched into the Sussex bowling on a pitch that was certainly helping the batsmen. Buck was the more aggressive of the pair and raced past Proctor's score with a string of boundaries, eventually bringing up his 50 off just 68 balls with his 9th 4. But after that he was gone for 51, Sekande having the last laugh as Brown took the catch. And on the brink of lunch, Northants lost their final wicket. Sanderson bowled by Briggs for 12. Proctor left high and dry on 49 not out in a total of 368. Sussex would begin their second innings with the lead of 54 in the afternoon session. Their bid to extend that advantage and make life tricky for the home side on the final day got off to a steady start. Phil Salt hit a couple of boundaries, and once he was set, the opener really raced through the gears. He pulled Overton for 4, and 2 balls later drove another boundary through the offside. The Sussex lead passed 100, and when Salt dispatched his 9th boundary down to fine leg, he reached his 6th first-class 50 off just 58 balls. But 4 balls later, he lost his opening partner when Haynes edged Buck to second slip where Overton took the catch. But Salt carried on regardless and took a particular liking to Rob Keogh's off-spin. He hit 2 4s and then a huge 6 from consecutive balls as he moved into the 80s. Salt wasted little time in adding the runs he needed to complete a superb century from just 90 balls, bringing up his ton with an off-drive off Overton. And there was one more maximum before Salt's onslaught came to an end. After hitting Overton for consecutive 4s, he tried it again and was caught in the deep by Cobb for 122 off just 104 deliveries. That signalled tea with Sussex 170 for 2, and their lead already an imposing 224. The hard work continued in the evening session for the Northants bowlers as Sussex attempted to set up a declaration, but Luke Wells perished for 36, caught in the covers for Overton's second wicket. As the visitors threw the bat in search of more quick runs, Finch holed out on the boundary to give Sanderson his first wicket. But that just brought Ben Brown to the crease, full of confidence after his first innings 150. Sure enough, he was soon building another decent partnership with Van Zale as the Sussex lead moved past 300. Van Zale reached his half-century first, courtesy of 3 successive 4s off Buck. Brown followed him to 50 off just 52 balls just before stumps to continue his superb match, and Sussex are firmly in control heading into day 4. At 292 for 4, they lead by 346 and have a real chance to force a victory, even on such a batter-friendly wicket. Another day for the batsmen as Northants hold Sussex. On another day dominated by the bat at Northampton, a century from opener Phil Salt gave Sussex a real chance of their second championship win of the season. They resumed on 292 for 4, a lead of 346, and the home side would be under pressure to save the game on day 4. Sussex skipper Ben Brown decided against an overnight declaration and continued the innings along with Stian van Zyl. The pair had both already passed 50 and were clearly keen to add more quickly. 8 runs from the first over took the total to 300, and Brown dispatched Buck's first ball of the next over to the fence too. Northants spinner Rob Keogh was proving particularly expensive, and he passed 100 runs conceded when Van Zyl hit him for consecutive boundaries. After 18 minutes, the pair had added another 47 runs, and Brown decided that was enough. Sussex 339 for 4 declared, with Van Zyl 81 not out and the captain on 60. Northants had 90 overs in which to score 394 to win the game. Vasconcelos hit a couple of quick fours off Visa, but then he was gone, edging Hamza to Sussex's day 3 hero Salt at third slip. That brought in Cobb, who made 62 in the first innings after being drafted in as a replacement for Alex Wakely on Tuesday. He was clearly in the mood for more, hitting Visa for 3 fours in an over. He gave Jordan similar treatment as he quickly raced to 40, before the Northants run rate slowed a little as lunch approached. Before it arrived, Cobb completed his second 50 with a cover drive off Visa, his 9th 4 of the innings. At the interval, the home side were 104 for 1, 290 still required from 68 overs, with 9 wickets remaining. Ben Curran was rather overshadowed by his partner before lunch, but when he attacked again, he only managed to edge Hamza through to the keeper, and a 99-run stand for the second wicket was over. Cobb was still there to keep Northants in contention, but when he'd reached 68, he decided to leave a delivery from Hamza with disastrous results. That seemed to be the end of Northants' hopes of reaching their target, but Temba Bavuma had other ideas. A couple of superb shots kept the pressure on the bowlers. But Northants had to avoid losing more wickets, and that proved beyond them. First, Keogh was LBW to Jordan for 15. And 3 balls later, a disastrous mix-up saw Bafuma's call for a single ignored by Rossington, and Visa brilliantly ran out the South African for 23. Sussex now needed 5 more wickets in 50 overs, but after his part in the run-out, Rossington owed his side a score, and along with Proctor, he kept the total moving. They hit a boundary each in 1 Wells over. The Northants total passed 200, which meant less than 200 required, and the pair were still together at tea. With 1 session to go, all 3 results were still possible. Sussex's best hope of securing a win seemed to be Mir Hamza, the game's best bowler so far, and he duly delivered with his 4th wicket of the innings from his first ball after tea, Proctor edging behind for 25. Brett Hutton, Northants' second concussion replacement of the match, joined Rossington, and despite the occasional aggressive shot off Sekande's bowling, it was clear that survival was Northants' mission. Rossington reached his 50 off 126 balls, and Sussex were relying on the final 10 overs of the match with the new ball to break this partnership and expose the Northants' tail. But Rossington and Hutton negotiated that final spell without major problems, and after 4 days where bat had dominated ball, a draw was the inevitable outcome. A partnership of 70 saw Northants through to 288 for 6 at the close. They're still waiting for their first win of the season, while Sussex will feel they had the better chances to force a victory. They have to settle for 13 points, while Northants take 11.